It's been a while since I've had, like, just a really, really shitty movie to rip to shreds. And, I mean, like, Battle of the Sexes was bad, but, like, this is... Okay, I've sat on this movie for a few days, too. Which, I usually don't do. But I had so much I wanted to say, and so much anger that I wanted to contain, that I held back for a little bit. The Foreigner is the newest Jackie Chan film and is directed by Martin Campbell, who I would most commonly refer to as the director of Casino Royale, but I don't feel as though he's earned that title today. So for the sake of this review, we're going to be referring to him as the director of Green Lantern. Okay, before Jackie Chan, kudos to you, okay? We all know how talented Jackie Chan is. A lot of people like to make jokes about him. Whatever. He has an honorary Oscar for a reason. He's done things in film a lot of people couldn't dream of. So, not only has he done that, but he's actually putting an effort in this movie, which is more than most can say that were involved with it. He's actually putting on a performance. He's, again, physically giving his all. And I could say some similar things about Pierce Brosnan, but Pierce Brosnan didn't succeed in his efforts. Jackie Chan sort of did. So, there. Alright, now let's just shred this fucking thing. I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's touch on the structure. Or lack thereof. I guess right now, I'll say spoiler alert. And that's not just for this segment, that's for the entire review. I'm talking about details of this movie. I'm sorry. If you feel like torturing yourself and feeling the equivalent of having your balls smashed in by a baseball bat, I guess stop watching and go see it. But if you don't enjoy the feeling of having your balls smashed in by a baseball bat, then go see anything else. I'm gonna lay out the structure of this movie for you. This is how the entire movie plays out. So you have 10 minutes at the beginning of the movie of bad dialogue and then explosion. And then Jackie Chan's daughter's dead. Whatever. 20 to 25 minutes of Jackie Chan going around to different people asking
£20,000 for the names of the bombers. Mr. Hennessy, please find out the names of the bombers. You will tell me the names of the bombers.
And everyone giving him the same exact response, which is, I don't know. 30 to 40 minutes of Jackie Chan building bombs, blowing shit up, and Pierce Brosnan having the exact same reaction every single time, which is, Jesus Christ. And then he gets on his phone and talks to someone and is like, we have to do something about the Chinaman. And then just, like, it's the same thing 5 to 6 times in a row. And then Jackie Chan is, like, minimal on screen for a good 30 minutes while Pierce Brosnan drinks whiskey and talks to different people. And then Pierce Brosnan's nephew, who is the equivalent of a bad that one assassin from one of the Bourne movies, he comes and he starts sleeping with Pierce Brosnan's wife. And then you find out Pierce Brosnan is behind the bombs, which I thought was part of the plot, not a twist. But he didn't want anyone to die, even though he was blowing up a populated street, and his friend or coworker wanted people to die. So Pierce Brosnan gets angry at him, and then they blow up a bus. I don't really know why they're blowing things up. They don't make that clear. They're just blowing shit up because why not? It's almost like Michael Bay directed this thing. And then Jackie Chan figures out who the bombers are. There's a climax, which feels like just an action scene that should have been halfway through the movie. And then it ends, even though I thought there was at least another 20 to 30 minutes. That's the entire movie. So you're noticing a couple of problems already, I hope. One, it's incredibly repetitive. At least 75% of this movie is filler, and them just doing the same thing over and over again. Whether that be conversation scenes with Pierce Brosnan talking to people, or Jackie Chan asking people who the bombers are, or Jackie Chan blowing up buildings. It's just the same nonsense over and over again for 2 hours, and it gets fucking infuriatingly boring, and you want to rip your eyes out because you can't sit through it anymore. It's painful. Like I said, there's no structure. Things just happen. There's no, like, usually most people, when you're making a movie, start at the foundation of a plot graph. Sure, you can build on that or change things around, whatever, but usually that's a solid foundation, a strong building ground. This movie just starts writing shit and then goes, that's how everything's gonna play out. There's no first, second, or third act. There's no, like, climax, like I said. There's just a bunch of shit that happens. And it comes across as incredibly sloppy because there's no structure to it. There's no basis for anything that happens. They're just throwing images at you on the screen for 2 hours. And it's agony. It's pure and utter misery. The other thing is, this movie reminded me of, like, if someone sat at a laptop and Googled how to make a movie and read a couple articles and went, alright, let's do it. That's how I feel like this movie was made. It is so dull and bland and one note the entire time. Even the color palette and the music is just dull. It's just so stretched out. And there's nothing special. There's nothing interesting. There's no intrigue. There's no nothing. I can't even say the direction is bad because it feels like there's no direction. It just feels like things are just happening with no kind of anything added onto it. And when you see a Jackie Chan movie, you usually go, okay, there's going to be that little extra spice. We're going to get some really cool stunt work. We're going to have some really cool action sequences. Even in the worst Jackie Chan movies, he's still doing some of that shit. He's never given an opportunity to do that in this movie. There are about 3 action scenes in the entire 2-hour-long film. And I wouldn't go so far as to call them all bad. One of them is okay. The other 2 are just serviceable at best. Because there's nothing to them. There isn't even any interesting stunt work by Jackie Chan. It's just a bunch of that's an action scene. I've seen shit like that 80 million other times in 12 million other action movies. And done better. It's just basic bullshit that doesn't matter. It doesn't add up to anything. There's no stakes. There's no tension. There's no nothing. It's just bland. That's the word I would use to describe this fucking movie, is bland. There's nothing. There's nothing to put this movie at another level. There's nothing to elevate it. It's just there. The movie's biggest crime is that it's boring. It's boring beyond belief. I found myself checking my phone so many times, begging to myself, please, let it end. Let it be over. And it did end in a point where it was so goddamn abrupt that I was like, this is the end of the movie. That goes back to the whole no structure thing. And I watched a review, I think it was like Chris Stuckman, who called it an interesting political thriller. What? Thriller is not a word. I wouldn't touch the word thriller with a 10-foot pole when talking about this movie. Thriller insinuates that something of tension happened. And I never felt that at all. I was just squirming in my seat, like dozing off, waiting for this fucking slock to wrap up. And it just never felt like it was going to end. It's, again, because the same shit is happening over and over and over again, and it's always boring and dull and bland, and there's nothing to make you walk out of this theater and go, that was worth my time, that was worth my money, that was worth my energy. It's not worth anything. I don't know where this movie went wrong, because the writing isn't awful. It's bad, but it's like not always noticeably miserable. Aside from the beginning of the movie, the direction isn't misery because there's a lack of it. It's almost hard to pinpoint how this movie went wrong, but it does in almost every way. So, don't see it if that's not apparent. See something else. I don't know. Go see Blade Runner. I mean, see Happy Death Day if you want. See if I give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. I originally gave this thing a 2 out of 10, but like talking about it out loud makes me want to give it a 1. You know? That's it. Expect to see this on the worst of 2017 lists, which I will be doing this year. I didn't do one last year, but I've seen enough bad movies this year where I probably will be able to. Ugh. Again, it's been like 4 days since I've seen this movie. I don't know why I'm still upset about it. So what did you guys think of The Chinaman, as it was originally aptly titled? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.